Good morning, Jeep Jamboree fans. This is Pierce Umlauf at Jeep Jamboree headquarters in California. And the other day we had posted a question online to see if people wanted to ask founder of Jeep Jamboree, Mark Smith, some questions. And we had some feedback from Facebook fans, and we had some great questions. So the first question I'll address, though, which is from Ralph. Ralph asked, how much wood can a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Our answer is...
He'd chuck all the wood. A woodchuck could chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood.
There you go, Ralph. That's your answer to your question. But anyway, we had a few great questions online. So Mark is taking time out of his busy schedule to sit down with us and answer some of your questions. So the first question, Mark, was from Tina Toddy, which was, what's your favorite location, where you've had a Jeep Jamboree?
Well, actually, there's many great ones. The Rubicon is probably the best, but all of our locations offer something special, such as Uray in Colorado is probably one of the most beautiful trips we do. Arch Canyon, Red Rock Country, etc. They all have something special to offer, but definitely the Rubicon would be number one.
Yeah, you're right. Rubicon is great, but Arch Canyon is pretty spectacular.
Very spectacular.
And I think it's DS Benita asked, what are the top 5 things you've learned on the trail working with Jeeps and chatting with fellow Jeepers?
Well, number one, Jeep owners are like the Harley Davidson people. We're in a class of our own, kind of a cult. Number two, when going off-road, speed and power are not the answer. Drive slow, relax, let the vehicle do the work. And most of all, know your vehicle and your vehicle's limitations. Not all vehicles are the same. They don't perform the same off-road, and individual drivers can be different. But speed and power are not the answer. Going off-road carries a fair amount of survival care. Tell somebody where you're going if you're going to be gone more than a day. And most of all, tread lightly when going off-road. Respect wildlife and the environment. And do not litter, and pick up and bring out what somebody else might have left behind.
Yeah, that's so true. I know we're all firm believers on that. People have to be responsible in order to be off-roading, or you shouldn't be out there doing it. Tammy Holcomb, asked the question that what's the one thing many things should I do to my Jeep Wrangler before I go to a Jeep Jamboree?
Well, unless you have a Jeep Rubicon, which is actually built for heavy-duty off-road, be sure to have decent tires that have a C load range on the sidewalls, skid plates on the bottom. If you're getting to the rougher trails, definitely rock rails on the rocker panels of your Jeep.
Yeah, and tow hooks are mandatory, folks, for all of our Jamborees, so make sure you have those as well. Albert asked, Albert Shackelford asked, how often does Jeep ask you for your input and what sorts of questions do they ask you?
Well, over 30 years, we've been involved with engineering. They often call on questions, and of course every year we always test new vehicles or new running gear over the Rubicon Trail with engineering. They ask for our input. We have been involved in working with design on future generations of Jeeps for our input.
Well, and a lot of people don't know that the folding down windshield was at one point going to be scrapped, I think, when they came up with the TJ model, and you had written a letter that went all the way up to Bob Lutz, who agreed with you on keeping the folding windshield intact in the Wrangler. So
it's a little bit complicated to get them down, but it still is available.
That's right. So, and then the last question was from Alexander, who asked, where can they find an expedition video or information on that?
Well, my book, Driven by a Dream, here in the office, has the daily log of our trip through the Darien Gap. Plus, we have a half-hour documentary of crossing the Darien.
Yeah, which is quite fantastic. It's one of those movies that they really did a nice job on that.
They did a beautiful job.
So anyway, so that's it, Facebook fans. So we hope you enjoyed this time with Mark, and we'll be posting the opportunity to ask more questions for Mark in the future. So thank you very much. Hope you guys have a good day. Bye.